we'd like to interrupt this episode and let you know that our sponsor this week is us. If you want to see anything about cars, head over to TTC Cars and see things like this.
Or for truck and SUVs, head over to the Texas Truck Channel for more stuff like this.
Lane departure warning, radar cruise control, and automatic braking need not apply here. This is a nanny-free vehicle. It's the actually 2019 Hyundai Veloster N. The 19 because it's ours, we own it, and they don't make it anymore, sadly enough. So, Craig, let's hit up exterior. First of all, what do you think of the N blue color?
I love the blue. It looks like the Houston Oilers designed a car.
I can't unhear that, thank you for that. But this is the non-performance pack version, so it has 18-inch wheels. Let's bring that around here. So you don't have the 19s that the performance pack has. You also hold off on the limited slip differential. What you do have are 18s that ride better. You have the same shock absorbers that are adjustable, and you have 25 horse less, which as far as I can tell is plenty of power to get this thing around.
And those are some fake Brembos?
Those are not fake Brembos. Those are actually in-house developed by Hyundai N, and they are as effective as 4-pot Brembos in their testing. So this is actually a cheaper, lighter version of Brembos. That's why
but at least they're red, so everybody thinks
they are red. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
And they're red in the back too. So let's talk about design in the front. I'll be honest with you, the Veloster for me historically has been the car for hamsters and Kia Soul people that want to graduate to.
Ooh.
But this is the second gen of the Veloster, and the longer we have owned this, the more I have grown to love it. Proportions are good. I love that the roofline slopes down. I think the nose looks better on this than the previous gen does.
And Texas ruins it with their stupid license plate.
Stupid license plate, all of our bugs, you know, welcome to Texas, how it goes. But if you look up front, Craig, there are no radar sensors. There are no radar cruise control sensors. It's just a grille. It's just a sport
You don't need it. You're
compact
supposed to
hatch.
drive it.
Exactly. You're in charge of this, nothing else. Let's talk about proportions again. So you'll see this swooping line, which I've really grown to like. Comes up here, gives you plenty of headroom, at least for me, and tapers down to the back. The downside of that tapering is your rear view mirror option is like it's got a backwards hat on. At all times, you can't see past that bill. But you know what? That's okay. You're looking forward in this car.
You
It's
sit
fine.
in it and you feel like you're in a hatch, but then you look at the profile and it's not very tall.
No, it's not, but there's plenty of room.
Yeah.
So I do want to point one more cork out. This is a nice two-door design, right?
Yeah, how do you get in the back?
Yeah, come to this side, I'll show you. So that's my door. That's for me. And this door is for my children.
Oh.
They get their own door on their own side, and yes,
Isn't that cute?
try to do that with the GT86. Try to do that with a Mustang. That's what this will give you.
Not happening.
Not happening. Even have their own console in the middle. It looks like a Hot Wheel, it drives like a Hot Wheel, and your kids have room for their Hot Wheels in the back.
And I like how the door handle's up here so that it doesn't mess up the profile.
Right.
So still gets a little bit of the coupe profile.
Body line is good.
So it's a 4-door.
It's a 3-door. No, it's a 4-door because here's number 4, right here. Hatch, typical hatch stuff. If you've ever had a GTI or a Focus ST, which is really what I think this car is aiming for, the non-performance pack Veloster N, Focus ST, 250 horse, they both have the same horsepower. This is really in that neighborhood. You'll feel familiar here. You do have tethers, you do have luggage holders, you've got luggage in this one, and a sub back here, which has just enough power to rattle the door panels. So
Yeah.
that's good to
Hey, is
know.
that some aero going on down there?
It has some aero, but let's start on top first.
Oh,
this
okay.
is a spoiler, and according to the internet, it works.
Oh, it's a carbon fiber spoiler.
Well, caps, right? But more importantly, you've got an F1 style brake light up here,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is the coolest part.
Yeah.
I love that a
Yeah.
lot. And down low, you have an actual diffuser, and this is claimed to be effective as well. Most importantly, it's exhaust. Let's hear that. Let's hear that. That's what I'm talking about. Let's check out the power plant up front. All right, up front you have a cheap economy car with a cheap prop rod, but guess what? Look how high that hood is up. Now,
That's a big N.
it's a big N, yeah. So this is the Theta 2 engine, which if you're Google on the internet, is loosely based on the architecture of the last Mitsubishi Evolution.
Hey, we'll take that connection.
I'll take that. That's a good connection.
That's good enough, yeah.
It's like that, but more reliable from what I can tell.
That's fair.
Well, in our experience at least so far. So what's really cool about this is, no, you can't take an Evo motor and drop it in here, but the architecture and design and lineage goes back that far. Think of this as the 3rd or 4th generation of that motor. Now, back here is a turbo.
That's the good bits.
It is twin scroll, and the good news, Craig, is that it's not tiny. And what I mean by that is it's not doing this 4-popper, all the torque is under 3,000 RPM. It wakes up at 3, and it runs hard about 55. It will run over to 65 and not feel like it's falling off. It starts to lean on the dual over cam 2-liter at that point. Something else I want to point out that's really cool is this is meant to be a tuner car out of the box. If you go to Hyundai's website, this has a warranty that explains what you can and cannot modify, and keep your warranty intact, that 10-year warranty. You can throw a cold air intake on this and never have a warranty violation. You'll never have a claim decline because you put an aftermarket intake so you can hear the turbo better. That's just cool, and it shows the intent on this. Let's check out the interior.
Let's start with the fourth door of this four-door hatch, and that is the hatchability of it all. You take these little things off. This is why a hatchback works. You take this thing out, now all of a sudden you put the seat down. Look at that. You've got all the room in the world. If Brian didn't have a stupid seat all the way back. I had to take my daughter with her golf clubs and golf cart and all that business to school the other day.
Golf cart?
Golf, well, the cart for the wheels. For the,
okay, yeah.
Those at golf know what I'm talking about.
Whatever.
It fit right in here, no problems. She sat in her seat. There was no compromise. That was quite nice. And even though Brian had his car seat in for his kiddo, we were able to work all around it, no problem.
I will point out that this car seat does match the color of the car, which is brilliant.
Yes, that is brilliant. Although we're not doing a car seat review here, Brian, so pay attention, Okay, but he is right, it does match. Moving up to the front, when you talk about high quality premium materials in here, no, actually not. This is the hardest plastic known to man. I mean, you can't make, this might be the hardest material known to man. I don't know where they found it. I don't know what mine they mined it from, but here, that doesn't matter though. It doesn't matter because you're not going to touch that. What you're going to touch are two things. The steering wheel, which, let me see this. The people need to see this. The indentations are right where your thumb need to go. It's beefy, it feels good, it feels premium actually. And then they make it very simple. Drive modes, and then in mode, or I don't know, race flag mode.
Right.
So drive mode, you can change it to normal, eco, or sport probably.
Yep.
Something like that.
Yep.
And then, but that's what you don't care about that. Go to this one. This is the one you want. You spend most of your time in normal, and then you come over here and you put it in mode, or custom mode. You hit it again, hold it down for 3 seconds, and you've got it right where you want it. But the other thing that matters is this right here. This is also, what'd you say, Mitsubishi related?
Yeah, this transmission is actually a Mitsubishi transmission. It is largely not changed, just updated.
But it's got a nice little, you can see here, a little leather wrap around it, or I don't know, spot around it.
Yeah.
Feels really good, and that's all that matters, because you won't remember the hard plastic when you're rolling through the gears that are actually pretty notchy and actually crisp shifting, and you hear the turbo and you feel the boogie. You don't give a crap about the hard plastic, so who gives a crap? The other thing is, Hyundai infotainment just works here. Hyundai ergonomics work. You get a power and tuning knob. Listen to everyone else, please do that. It's not that hard to do. It just works. And then look, this little cable right here, maybe it's a little old school, people don't like to do wireless now, but whatever, you plug it in, it works, CarPlay works every time. You're in business.
Two more things.
Yes.
This is the, oh, excuse me.
Sorry.
Thank you.
You see this? That is Houston Oiler blue.
No, that's 300 horsepower blue. That's what that is.
It's Houston Oiler blue. It matches the Houston Oiler theme on the outside.
Well,
carries on in the interior.
So
that's really nice.
The stitching matches that.
That's
and these bolsters,
cool.
Craig,
yes,
are not nothing. Now I will say, the last gen or second gen Veloster N has Recaros, which are nicer and make the whole space feel nicer. But look at the price of this thing. It just doesn't matter. It's about the driving.
Here's the biggest problem with this car. Well, let's get to the drive first. Let's get to the drive next. I'll tell you the biggest problem.
All right,
Brian. We're in the N.
Yes, we are.
Which means it's got all kinds of sports things.
It's got all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah, so get a setup.
Performance timers. We're gonna check acceleration 0 to 60 on it versus the race box.
Okay.
Also, let's get this sorted real quick.
Okay. And now you look like the car.
It's okay. And let's go to custom because I prefer that over N.
Okay.
I have it configured to have traction off the whole time.
Okay. Got it all.
Press the hold Yep. Ready.
Okay, a storer car would have already done the 0 to 60 run, but okay. Hit it! Oh, a little wheel spin. A lot of wheel spin.
Kind of scrub them.
All right. 0 to 60 on this timer, 6.21. In-car timer, 6.1.
That's optimistic in the car. That's what we know now. Now we're done with that.
Well, we do know that Racebox adjusts for hills and declines and things like it's supposed to, so who knows?
So look, we ran this a few times off camera.
Yes.
Granted, that was a bunch of wheel spin. 5.8 was the best I got out of it.
Pretty good.
On the street, not a prep surface, and not because, look, as I said earlier, we own this one, so I'm being pretty nice to it, and I don't want to completely kill the clutch. We've got 50,000 miles on it, so I feel like there's a few tenths to be found there.
Probably.
Yeah,
probably.
Definitely.
Okay, so ride and drive. We've talked about an interior. The money wasn't really spent there.
No. It was put literally everywhere else.
But you say, well, the money was spent in the performance side of it.
Yeah.
Talk through some of those.
Okay, so the biggest thing that this car has, and granted the Civic Si has this tech as well, it's adaptable dampers. And so they're actually valved. And so through the custom settings, you can change what it's set to, which I like it in normal, because in mode is you find bumps you didn't know existed. But if you're on a glass surface, that's where it matters. So N is code for something in Korean. I'll drop it in below. It's actually like their engineering division, but it also stands for Nürburgring.
Okay.
Because the brainchild, convenient. Brainchild behind this is Albert Biermann. And if you're a car nerd, you know that's any M car you've ever loved. That's his work. This is
real original. So he went from the next letter in the alphabet and just went to N.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay,
but
good,
it worked.
good.
That's
Okay,
it worked. There are drive modes. Eco is here. I don't know why it's here. Sport is kind of like I couldn't pick custom on my own, and normal is just I'm commuting and keep it quiet.
Yeah, and back to the eco mode. Like I tried eco mode. I used to try hypermileage. It makes zero difference. I don't even know what it is.
Just normal.
Yeah.
But it also doesn't make it any worse either.
Well, it makes it worse in that it's green and it clashes with the other dials.
That's right. So that's why you go back to red.
Right.
Which is in mode. Now the other thing I want to talk about is that this is non-performance pack, which means it does not have valved exhaust.
Okay.
Yet.
This thing's pretty loud.
Well, because without the valve, they default to the noisy setting.
Okay.
So if you get the valve exhaust, it just gets quieter than this.
Oh, we don't want that.
We don't want that.
No,
so
we don't
care about that anyways. Now, I will say the pops and crackles, if you're not in N mode or custom, it just doesn't make them.
Yeah, no.
So that's cool that you have that ability, and actually at idle is noisier in N mode. I'm not sure how. That's incredible.
Yeah.
But other than that, you do miss the limited slip that the performance package has, and we've driven the Elantra N that had that. It's incredible.
Yeah.
I do kind of wish this had that, but it was about $3,000 less than its competitor, or actually about almost $5,000 less than the nearest one I could find with performance pack.
Can I talk about something in my time with this car?
Yes.
Please explain to me what is happening with that speedometer.
Okay, it's on a scale, all right? So it goes from 0 to 60, and then so it goes in increments of 10. 10, 20, 30, 40.
Makes sense.
50, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160, and optimistically 180.
I was trying to go 75, and I was trying to figure out what's happening. I couldn't, am I at 75? Or what? I couldn't tell how fast I was going.
It cracks me up. You do have a cool F1 style shift light in the middle. I like that a lot.
That is really cool.
And in terms of driving, the steering, this is an electric power steering rack. It's good.
It is.
It's not the most communicative, but the ratio is spot on. It's right where it needs to be. I like that a lot. And you get a proper parking brake, a proper shifter. You get all the fun driving things you need, and literally nothing else. You get a stereo that's good enough to rattle the door panels. You've got Apple CarPlay, and you've got enough mileage. What else could you want?
Here's the biggest problem. I alluded to the biggest problem with this car in the interior segment, and I want to tell you what the biggest problem with this car is.
What's that?
The biggest problem with this car is that a lot of people suggest in the car community that those that know the Mazda 2 is a great hatch, fun to drive, but they don't make them anymore.
They don't.
They don't make them anymore. And so kind of what's the replacement? That's hatchy, but still sporty and fun to drive.
Yeah.
Dang it.
And on that note, I do want to mention one more thing. It's competition. This thing is weirdly placed. Focus ST. That's really what this is targeted with.
Yep.
With the performance pack, it's reaching for the Civic Type R. And also, one more thing that's really important I want to talk about. Those pops and crackles, those are not there to just be obnoxious and be fun. Although they are fun, those are actually anti-lag from the factory. They're a byproduct of anti-lag, and instead of tuning that out for refinement, they just said, leave that there, that's fine.
Leave it in.
So one thing this car does better than I think a lot of its competition, mainly the GTI, is that it is just more fun all the time.
Well, you can tell whoever developed this car and put it all together, like, likes to have fun in cars. That's what they did.
Right, and there's not many of these left over that are just fun because.
Right.
And also the ergonomics are better than the Focus ST because it's newer. And it doesn't have this weird dash thing going on. So with all that covered, thank you Hyundai for making something fun. These things, while they're getting less and less frequent, they are getting better as they go. So we appreciate that. Thanks for watching. See you next time.